Hi, I'm Michael Golubeck, and this is my basic walkthrough of my professional development website that I created. And what it is it's a PD on VoiceThread and its use as an assistive technology alternative to pen and paper. So essentially what VoiceThread is, it allows you to create interactive, sort of interactive presentations, but the cool thing about it is it's very collaborative, and it allows students and whoever else is actually involved in the dialogue to respond to whatever the presentation is in real time. So it'll just keep replaying, and you can watch it and then click on different users' responses. But the way I'm using it is as a form of alternative assessment in the classroom, right? So it's part of my background training as a special educator. I understand that when I did my, sorry, that's my 16-month-old daughter crying in the background, and then I have another 1-month-old laying there right now. So you'll have to excuse me if this seems choppy, because I'm going to be pausing it and taking care of them and then coming back. So I kind of got my hands full over here. But anyway, so what the site allows you to do is have that dialogue and that collaborative environment where your students are actually responding to your presentation as it plays, and you can play it and use it as a form of alternative assessment. So you can, instead of having them, for example, in the way that I like to use it, instead of having reflections, written on paper, I'm a special educator, and I have students who don't have the abilities to maybe write as well as the others, or they don't feel comfortable writing. We'll work on that in different lessons, but I want to get their ideas through. So the best way to do that is whichever way they're comfortable. So VoiceThread allows you to actually record videos, write if you want directly on. You can draw on the actual presentation as it's playing. So it's really cool and very useful as a form of alternative assessment. But so here's the site, and you can learn more about it by actually watching or going through the PD. But I'll just give you a breakdown of the website itself. So at the top here we have a About Me section, right? So in that section, it's just a picture of me, my contact information, a link to my website, and then a little small, short autobiography here, and then you can click on this, and then it links you to my resume. So that's there, and then here I have the teaching guide, right? So the teaching guide is, the same one everyone had to do for the class, except I created inline in-page linking, so you can just click back and forth and just for ease of use. I hate having to scroll through a lot of stuff, and I have ADHD, so I'll lose myself if I'm scrolling through page and page and page, and you'll see where that also comes along later in the website design itself. But here I have a link to resources, and so these are just a couple of resources based around special education, technology, things like that. So inclusive strategies for mainstream classrooms, because that's what this is all about, is used as a strategy for your inclusive classroom. And then a little bit of laws behind special education laws. And I mean, that's important for educators to remember, that they have to do this. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a special education student in your class, it's your obligation to actually make sure that they're learning, and they're protected by law. So laws are scary, and this will hopefully scare the teachers into remembering that they have to do this by law. Link to VoiceThread, different sorts of using differentiation, and then the standards of technology. So I mean, this is basically the only stuff that I have up here. I have the site map. I'm debating whether to get rid of it or not, because I don't like having all the links available at the get-go. I feel that as a professional development, if you're going to have like a workshop or a seminar or something, and you have an activity, they have to go through every step, in the order that you want them to, because that's the way that it should be done. So I've taken different professional development, or had to do different kinds of online professional development in the past, and it's very easy to, if you're watching like videos, like, and then you have to answer questions or whatever, to just put the earphones in and do something else, and then just click back and forth. And I've gotten through a lot of them that way, and it's not the right way to do it, because you want them to actually do the work and learn the skills. So back to the main page. So it's very simple, and that's the way I think it should be, because once it's too complicated, then you kind of get distracted and whatever else. So here's this little forward button, and this is to begin the actual professional development workshop. So here I give a little introduction and then explain what I want them to do. So here's a pre-assessment. So I basically explain the pre-assessment and tell them what to do and give them directions. And here's the it's a Google form. And so put in your name, your email address, and the thing is, I made everything required, because again, I don't want people just clicking stuff or skipping through things, because all of it's important. And the form itself isn't completely done yet. I still have to do a little more to it, but this is the basic one. And here you have a it's the same form for both. I simplified it because I actually collect the data. I'm going to collect it on a spreadsheet and have the correct answers incorporated into the spreadsheet, so I can keep track of how people actually did on the pre-assessment, and then how they also, if they improved or not. I'm kind of like a data freak, so I want to see if there actually was improvement, so I can test how well my PD actually was. So then I have the post-assessment, so they're taking the pre-assessment. Then you just have to answer a few questions, and I'm going to have some more questions, just basic things regarding their comfort level with PD or comfort level with special education and their things like that. But these are like the actual questions regarding special education, testing questions. The other stuff is going to be more of like just data collection. So then they have to submit that, and then they can click forward to continue. And so I have another introduction on explaining what the teacher responsibilities are for having an inclusive classroom, and what responsibilities you have towards special needs students. And then I explain what accommodations are, and you can see that that's one of the questions that was on the pre-assessment. So hopefully, when they're done with the PD, they'll have an understanding of what accommodations are and some of the laws and rules, types of accommodations and rules and things like that regarding special education. And then once they do the final assessment, then they can see if they, I can see if they actually learned something from this. But, then I have a couple of YouTube links, the TED Talk, and then a short little thing about how IEPs and 504 plans differ. And then here's a breakdown, like a chart that I found here. But you can see I don't allow them to take the pre-assessment again. Once you've completed it, the form only allows you to take it once, but I also don't want them jumping back and trying to do it. See, I hate that. So they can't go back. Okay, so that's why I'm debating whether to get rid of that part too, because then they could just click it, I guess, and try to redo it or something. But then you have to go forward. And then here's a tutorial. So I did another screencast of the actual process, right? So let's get started on creating our first VoiceThread. So what we'll do is we'll open up our browser and enter in the URL. So it goes through the process of creating a VoiceThread, at least this initial step. I did it in two parts. So here's how to get to adding media. Right, and then they add the media, and then it begins processing, and that's the first step. So I did that, and then I created a step-by-step process here. So because you're not going to catch everything watching a video like that. Like this, they can open VoiceThread in a separate browser, or separate tab, and click back and forth. And then also just follow the steps, right? So step 1, I show you a screenshot of the actual site, and then I put these little vintage pointers, you know, showing you where to go for each step, and then a brief explanation of what you're going to do. So you just run through it, and it tells you how to add the media, where to go. All right, so now in this, I do allow, since I don't allow going back for the pre-assessment or any kind of assessment, but in case you miss something, I do have back buttons for everything else. So you can go back and look at your accommodations and whatever else, and then go back here, and then the next step, so continuing the lesson. So then I continue with the tutorial and explain, you know, here's the stuff that the media I included, you know, describe how to save it or title it, and then give you a walkthrough of the actual presentation, and then the actual activity that I'm having the student I used for the students. And it's basically a reflection, but the reflection is a little bit more complicated, and in that they have to do a little bit of background research and find out a little bit about themselves and the names, the significance of it. You know, you can do it any kind of way you want. This is subject specific because I'm an English teacher, so it's like for a unit on House on Mango Street. But you can see how VoiceThread allows you different options on how to respond to an actual VoiceThread. And so I have, like, you can click here and you can write a message. You can call in a message from your phone, which is kind of weird since you're students, but I can see how it can apply to, you know, like an online course or for professionals. So if you're, you know, in different areas or whatever, you're not all in the same place, you can do an online, you know, so it's collaborative, you know, so I mean, it's truly collaborative in that you can do it from anywhere in the world. Here's a microphone, so if you're just comfortable speaking. Here's a video, so if they want to do a video response, and then they can also upload different sorts of media to here on this, in this section. So I mean, you can see how it's accommodating, and it kind of whatever strength the student has is whatever they're more comfortable with using. So they can use any one of these to respond. But then as you go through it, so say they respond, I did a text response, and what happens is it pops up on the screen, and then you can see which student actually responded. It's time-stamped as well, so that's kind of good, so you can see if they did it on time. And then their responses show up here, every student or whoever's doing the VoiceThread activity. So it's kind of cool. So again, I have the pointers and step-by-step directions on how to create that. And then I provide more, and this is the actual activity, so I give a, you know,
now that you have a working understanding of VoiceThread comes the fun part.
So I'm going to have the people in the workshop actually work together in groups now, right, and creating their own VoiceThread based on a previous lesson that they taught. So part of the requirements for the workshop was that the teachers or whoever bring in a lesson that they taught in class, and then you're going to convert it to be a VoiceThread lesson. So that way, not even just a lesson, but the assignment, right? So some sort of assignment. So in this case, like I showed you, it was a reflection on a certain part of the book. So that's step-by-step directions. And then in the small groups, based on departments or subject area, they're going to pool together and then develop their own VoiceThread. And I'll give them time to do that, and then share them with the class, you know. And the thing is, you can actually just share it, and then it'll be a link. So everybody in the professional development, each group can click on the link, and then they can do, you know, comment on each other's VoiceThreads, and it's kind of cool. So they'll see how the students will be able to do that same thing. And then you click forward again, and here's the you know, post assessment. So this is the final assessment. So then it's the same questions, right? So it'll be the same questions, and then again, this is not complete. I still have to add some more stuff to it, but you can see I can see if they've improved then, right? Because then once I submit this, then the data is collected into a spreadsheet on Google, and then I can look at the responses and see, you know, the percentage of who got this correct or whatever. And I can also, once I do that, I can actually email it to them, you know, and give them their breakdown of their scores. So then it's complete. So then once you've completed this, you just click that and you're back to the main screen. So it's very simple. I mean, the PD would actually take, I mean, not too long, I would say, because I mean, each video is short. Depends on the abilities of the people involved. But it's very simple, very straightforward. I don't like a lot of messy links on the side or, you know, all over the place. You know, just step by step by step by step by step, and they complete it, and, you know, hopefully they learn something and they will apply this technology in their classroom, because it's honestly really cool and very simple to use. And that's about it. You know, you can comment on each. Oh, this one doesn't have permission to comment, but you can comment on. Maybe might change that so that I can have comments on each page just to see, or what I'm thinking about doing, and, you know, if this is going to be truly a online professional development, what I'm going to do is, in the part where I'm in the page that I'm having them actually create their voice threads, what I'm going to do is, I think I might have them comment, you know, open this up to allow everyone to comment, because right now I'm using this as a, you know, someone who doesn't have access. Like, I'm logged out. So now that I see that, I don't have permission to comment unless I log into my Google account. So I might have them log into their Google accounts and then send the links or share their links of the voices they created. I think I might add that, you know, just so it's completely, truly an online professional development. And then I can see, you know, have links to everyone's VoiceThreads there, and just click on that. And then once it'll load into VoiceThread, I can comment on their stuff. So I think I might open that up for that. But the rest of that is, I mean, basically it's complete. I'm really happy with it, and hopefully you'll give it a shot, try it out, and use it in your classroom too. All right, thank you.